From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rocking the Bumblefoot, filling out an SOR Sightlines report if you've had an encounter you can't explain, and read up on Captain Shirk's SOR News Wire. It is updated daily. We got more coming probably right after the weekend. I think you'll be happy with it. Tonight's show is brought to you by the Mighty Moose Beard Oil Company. It's 100% Canadian, 100% natural, taking care of beards around the world. Visit MightyMooseBeard.com. Don't forget to use promo code SOR2019 today. We end the week with a little woo as we talk UFOs, ET Contact, and what it's like to recall the memories of alien abduction. Taking us down this road is Lesley Mitchell Clark, a clinical hypnotherapist from Toronto, Ontario, who will be speaking at next week's Alien Cosmic Expo with yours truly. Yeah, Lesley specializes in working with individuals who feel that they have had experiences with extraterrestrial and ultra-terrestrial beings. What's the difference? I have no clue. We'll ask Lesley when she's on the air. Most of this fascinating work is just phenomenal. The people are real. She also gets in touch with the metaphysical therapies as well, such as past life and interlife regression. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I'm going to bring you the SOR News Wire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Lesley Mitchell Clark, I got something to say to you before we start. You know, I met you over the phone about 4 years ago, and you were a guest on the show, relatively not knowing who I was, what Spaced Out Radio was all about, and you have become one of our biggest fans and supporters out there on the East Coast. And I just want to say thank you so much for putting your faith in what we are doing on a nightly basis with this show, and your support has been phenomenal. And I love the fact that I can bounce everything or any idea off you from time to time. It's been a few months because I've been so busy, but you mean the world to me, and I'm glad you're here on a Friday night.
Oh, Dave, thank you so much. That is just so lovely to hear. And, of course, obviously, everyone, knows that this is a marvelous, marvelous show to rival, any similarly themed shows that are on the air. And we're very proud. You are proudly Canadian, too. So that's a wonderful thing.
Well, you're also, we should make a note of it, you're also proudly American. I think you're a Yankee fan, are you not?
Well, I am a Yankee fan. However, I have dual citizenship. I've been a Canadian citizen for a long time.
Doesn't mean you got to like the Blue Jays.
I was much more a Mets fan than a Yankee fan, actually.
Oh, well,
oddly,
so. I guess we just found your flaw.
My Achilles heel, that's it.
Well, yeah. You know what? I look very much forward to meeting you for the first time next Friday at Alien Cosmic Expo in Toronto when it starts. And for people out there, especially if you're on the East Coast, if you haven't got your tickets yet, go to aliencosmicexpo.com. I want to meet you. Lesley will want to meet you. Many others will want to meet you. It's going to be a great party about UFOs, aliens, and see where it goes. And, I look forward to actually finally getting a chance to say hello to you, give you a big hug, and say thank you in person.
Well, we will be, I am equally looking forward to that. And the whole weekend starts off with a great party celebrating the whatever's going on at Area 51. And you'll get a chance, you'll meet it, will be a few people maybe you haven't met, and many people that you've talked to and know but haven't met personally. So it's going to be a great time, Dave. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too, my friend. Me too. For people who don't know what you're about and how you got involved with the whole idea of extraterrestrials and ET contact, how did that come about for you?
Well, it's something that I always been fascinated with. Always, always, always. And, in our book that has just come out, I do talk kind of personally about, some experiences that actually happened to me as a child and as a teenager. But I was always fascinated with the whole subject matter. And I was also, in addition to my various artistic pursuits, I was also very involved with mental health care. All through my university days, I was a psychiatric aide, then a psychiatric technician. I worked in a state mental facility. So I was very directly involved with mental health care and fascinated with it, really. So, it's a long time now, maybe about 15 years ago, something like that. I had been working really as a top publicist in the jazz industry in New York City and other places, and the record labels were collapsing, one by one, really due to greed and other bad things, but they were collapsing, and so was my career. So I want, and also that was partly it, but also I felt a great calling or emotional need to do something that was fulfilling and that would help other people. I really felt a strong desire to reinvent myself in some kind of very, hopefully useful way. So I was floundering, Dave. I really was. And my husband, to sort of help me to try and get some focus, bought me with not the hypnotherapist I eventually trained with, but bought me a past life regression with a hypnotherapist here in Toronto. And the experience was so profound for me. Not only the experience of, remembering, and getting details and visuals from past lives, but the biggest part of it was I knew that I could absolutely facilitate past life regressions. I knew that I could do that. Now, some might say maybe I had practiced hypnotherapy, in a past life. And in fact, hypnosis, as we know it, is more than 6,000 years old. As you know, the ancient Egyptians practiced it. The Greeks had sleep temples. And if you believe in antediluvian, maybe supercultures, no doubt they had a system that was very similar, if not the same. So hypnosis is ancient, and I just immediately began resonating with the process. Now, of course, it was a few years down the road before I began actually working with experiencers, but the initial was pretty dramatic as far as a life-changing road. So I studied, and I got my basic hypnosis certification. I worked in the kind of clinic that just does, weight loss and what are some of the smoking cessation. I worked in a place like that, and really learned my craft. And eventually, after I had been certified in metaphysical therapies, which include past life regression, only at that point did I start to work in those areas. And interestingly enough, experiencers just started, contacting both the clinic where I worked and myself individually. It just seemed to be a kind of a magical thing, or maybe something through the law of attraction, who knows. But I just started getting calls from individuals who wanted to explore the possibility that perhaps they had had experiences with extraterrestrials. And most of the time that took on the form of missing memories, missing time. That was usually the big motivation that people had to see me. So it was a journey. So for about the past dozen years, I have been working regularly with experiencers, both male and female, from all walks of life, defying all classifications of religion or ethnicity.
Oh, wow. So when you are going through this and you are working with people, how do people come to you? How do they find out about what you do? Especially when the topic of ETs is such a taboo topic.
Well, I think probably, Dave, at this point, I've been so fortunate to, appear on a lot of media and some major television. I think probably when people Google hypnosis and alien abductions or whatever, probably my name is very likely to come up. I would imagine. And of course, I do get a lot of calls from people that have heard me on, your wonderful show or another, similarly themed radio or television show. So it seems to come mostly from getting the word out from media that I do.
Do people, though, who have had experiences, who are maybe shy or unsure that they really experienced it, when they reach out, what is their mood like? What is their feelings? Are they timid? Are they like, yeah, I think I got taken by aliens? What is that like?
Well, Dave, I think everybody is an individual, but I would have to say that as a general rule, by the time that people contact me, they are probably more frustrated and upset and anxious than anything else. Very often they may have been through, psychiatric or medical procedures. They generally are extremely sleep deprived because a lot of this activity, of course, that we're talking about, happens in the nighttime hours, early morning hours. And many people who have regular experiences have suffered from terrible sleep deprivation. So all of these factors come into play. So about half the time, the experiencers that come see me are, I would have to say, in a kind of an irritated, ready to just lose it kind of frame of mind. About half the time. The other half of the time, I have people who are more perhaps emotional. They are probably more, they have more social anxiety. They may have, what I would term as a very specific type of PTSD. They may have things that go in line with that. And of course, as you said, there could be incredible shyness or reticence. I really do think, and I hope that this changes, over the years, but I really do think, Dave, that by the time people seek me out, they have exhausted a lot of mainstream possibilities, and they are often in a state of agitation and a state of depression and questioning their own sanity.
So those people who are questioning their sanity, are you saying they're at wit's end, that they don't know where else to turn? Because I don't know how it works on the UFO or ET front, but I know on the paranormal front, where a lot of groups get a lot of their clients from, is Google. Somebody will Google their website or wherever, and the majority of people out there have no clue that there are so many different paranormal teams out there, but B, that they don't know what people are doing, how they deal with it. So they're very uninformed, and they're just looking for help because their house is strangely haunted. And they don't know whether they're getting a good team or a bad team. For people in the UFO front, in the ET front, if somebody has an experience, is it much different in trying to get a hold of somebody who deals with this? Because not every clinical therapist is going to be prepared for someone who's claiming to have ET contact.
Oh, you're so right. In fact, I get referrals from clinical therapists. Now, it's one thing I should probably point out, and I know we've talked about this before, is as a hypnotherapist, as opposed to a psychiatrist who is a medical doctor or a psychologist who is a doctor of psychology, I am really not allowed to work with individuals who have been diagnosed with a mental illness. Now, this is a little bit of a gray area as far as I'm concerned because, I don't consider anxiety and depression mental illnesses. However, certainly a dissociative disorder, some type of schizophrenic dissociative disorder would certainly, I would be precluded from working with that person. So when people do come to me, I have to do everything that I can to make sure that someone is not having a mental health crisis that involves psychosis or something serious of that nature.
Well, but who diagnoses that though? Do you, or are you looking for any type of doctor's report?
Well, yeah, exactly that. I cannot diagnose. However, if someone comes to me in a dissociative state, I usually have enough information on their intake paperwork, which is pretty intricate, where I will have a medical doctor or a psychiatrist, and I will be able to usually to call someone if I need to, if I feel that I need to. If I feel that the person is mentally ill or having a crisis, I will absolutely call their medical reference. Sometimes people sometimes individuals who may very well be experiencers also have mental health issues. It can be very complex, Dave, right? Very complex. So I do the best that I can by simply doing quite an extensive intake with an individual once they contact me. I ask them an awful lot of questions. We get into the medical history. We get into the experiences. So by the time someone actually comes to see me, I am like 99.9% sure that they are mentally healthy and are more than likely an experiencer.
We're going to stop right there for a quick second because being that it is Friday the 13th and a full moon, a harvest moon, a shrunken moon, everything to go along with every superstition that is crazy today, absolutely crazy. I have to ask you, in regards to the superstition Friday the 13th, how many people have you dealt with through your clinics there who struggle with triskaidekaphobia?
It's fairly rare. It's down there. I've only encountered a handful of cases of that in my whole career as a therapist. Let me see if I could. It's right down there with like onophobia, which is almost a psychotic fear of childbirth. That's also extremely rare. I've only seen maybe true cases of that in my practice. So yeah, it is rare. But the Friday the 13 is a goddess number, and it's. But the reason, of course, that we get so upset about Friday the 13th it was a Friday the 13th when the order came down from the Holy Roman Emperor that all of the members of the Knights Templar were to be seized and tortured and killed. And that happened on the 13th day. And however, that being said, if you've ever traveled in Asia, and I have extensively traveled in Asia, they have a big thing about 13 as well. In fact, in buildings, in office buildings and skyscrapers, there's never a 13th floor. So I have to wonder, does that come from a Western European situation about the Knights Templar, or it must go deeper than that? It must relate to something altogether different.
It could very much be. Okay, let's get back into UFOs now, because I hate the number 13, Lesley. I do.
Okay.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
I hated the age 13. There was nothing worse than the age 13 as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, trust me. I know. And it's funny because, like, I don't have that ultimate fear that, something bad is going to happen on Friday the 13th or whatever it is. To me, I think as I've grown older, it's become just another day like for everybody else. But I don't know. I just hate the number 13. Hate it. But that's just me.
All right. Well, we'll skip it. Next year have two 12s.
Exactly. It's like I won't, in a hotel, if they're skipping the room, the 13th floor, I won't even stay on the 14th floor because that's still the 13th floor.
Very interesting, Dave. Yeah. Very interesting.
I am that way. I am totally that way. But we only got a couple minutes before we have to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Lesley Mitchell Clark is our guest tonight. Lesley, do you remember, in about 90 seconds, do you remember your first case of ET contact?
I do. I do remember my first case. And I was actually very, very nervous about doing, the right thing and the right kind of work for this person. And I had adapted past life regression techniques to, utilize to hopefully go back to some of the missing time. And then once I got in there, and the person started, recalling and processing and integrating the experiences, I began to have a feeling about how important this work could be and how experiencers could take their lives back by simply empowering themselves.
But for you, in dealing with this type of case for the first time, did it make you question your own professional ethics?
No, it did not, because I was anxious. I had passed through all of these other accreditation periods so that I could do this work. I was driven to do this work. I had already studied in great detail the work of Dr. John Mack and, the other individuals who had, utilized regression in working with experiencers. And I was ready. I was nervous, but it was a good nervous. I felt as if I was connecting with my purpose.
You know what? Let's get into that story, if you don't mind, when we come back from the break. Lesley Mitchell Clark, clinical hypnotherapist, is with us on this Friday night on Spaced Out Radio. More about ET Contact coming up right after this.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESSA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR News Wire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR News Wire at spacedoutradio.com today. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Good to have you with us this evening. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed a little bit of this show or others, you can always check out our free YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot, filling out a Sightlines report if you've had a weird, strange experience you can't explain, or reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR News Wire, as she updates it daily. We got new features coming very, very soon, so please stay tuned. We're talking clinical hypnotherapy when it comes to ET Contactees out of Toronto, Ontario. Lesley Mitchell Clark is our guest, and I also want to remind you, Lesley will be also taking part in next week's Alien Cosmic Expo in Toronto, Ontario. I will be speaking there as well. I got the Saturday shift right after lunch. I got the good one when everybody's already full and ready to sit down. Lesley, I'm pretty happy about that. I'm happy about that time slot. I'm not going to lie.
It's a good time slot. I have a rude time slot, 2 rude time slots in the morning. So wow, first thing. But anyway, that's okay. But you have the good slot, buddy. I'm very happy for you. You deserve it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we could put on a show. I know the last time Grant Cameron heard me speak down in San Francisco, he was pretty blown away by the stories because he'd never really heard them. So I'm looking to drop some jaws while I'm there. Drop some jaws.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
Well, just hopefully it's not because of my looks. That's all I'm saying. Hopefully it's not because of that, because that would be a real detriment to my ego.
Worry not, Dave. Everything will be fine.
I believe you. Lesley, right before the break, we were talking about the first ever case that you did with an ET contactee, and you were describing what it was like for you. You felt you were prepared for it. You were ready to take on this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Fill us in on the story. What was it like?
Well, again, by this time I'd already done, lots and lots and lots of past life regression. So I'd heard all kinds of stuff. And, so what we did, as I recall, is this individual had some mix of conscious and memories and, memories that were suppressed or blocked or what have you. And so, what I wanted to do is, I wanted to really regress that person back to the first incident of high strangeness in their life, because there were a few separate incidents, but I was curious about where it had begun, and so I put the client into a deep trance, and I had them talking to me and where they needed to be, and I instructed them to go back to the first, and so I had to phrase this very carefully because you don't want to put information into people's heads that they will then regurgitate back at you. But I believe I said the first incident of high strangeness, whether it happened in the daytime or nighttime, no matter how old you were. And so this client went all the way back to, the age of 2 or 3, being in the crib and being, having light, beings of light come through the wall. come right through the wall and take the baby somewhere. So I was later to really understand that the vast majority of experiencers are lifelong experiencers. They almost never realize that when they come to see me. Almost never. So when I was regressing this one individual, it was a big shock for him that this had been going on, since that age. A tremendous shock, I should say.
Did you think there were as many people out there who were having this commonality of ET contact and abduction?
I think that I'm sorry, Dave. The commonality. Do you mean the commonality of having been a lifelong experiencer, or what?
Yes.
Which commonality?
Or just the amount of people out there that were having these common experiences.
Well, I think it's massive. The latest data that we have. I mean, probably at least 14 million people that we know of have had contact experiences. And I think it may be even much higher than that. Some individuals estimate that as many as 3/4 of the people on the planet have had encounters. So, and the commonality of the lifelong experiencer is extremely strong. And one thing I will say that's kind of interesting about the work with experiencers, Dave, is I tend to get waves of people who have had a certain kind of experience and yet who don't know each other and are completely unrelated. In other words, I'd say maybe the past 5 years, a little bit longer, I have had a tremendous amount of experiencers who have been involved in some sort of black ops secret space program, men and women. And that's a disproportionate amount. So, what that says to me, that, a lot of these people who have had these types of experiences are waking up, because I really don't believe that memories can be suppressed forever. I don't really accept that. Even when it's done by, extraterrestrials for a benevolent reason, I don't think that memories can stay suppressed forever. So there comes a point where things start to bubble up and people start to wake up, and then they are more or less forced to deal with what may have been unclear flashes before.
With the commonality of the experiences people are having, are they usually a positive or negative experiences?
Most of the time it's positive, Dave. And this is what probably a lot of people would be very surprised to hear. Now, in saying that, I should probably also add that sometimes the individual doesn't understand the positivity of an experience until it's recalled and explored, if you know what I mean. Sometimes when people remember fragments of having had encounters, they construct a kind of web of fear, that's just based on not knowing, right? So generally speaking, once we get in there and look at the experience, it can be benign and positive. My personal feeling is that, following the really the ending of the unfortunate agreement that was made with ETs, a certain type of ETs, by Harry Truman and the later Dwight Eisenhower. There was, by all accounts, an agreement made with specific groups of Greys who were willing to exchange technology with the United States for access to a limited amount of human beings so that they could extract genetic material. So there are people on the planet now, of course, who experienced this type of violation. Either they had sperm taken or ovum taken, or even worse. There are many accounts of women who have been impregnated and had an embryo removed and taken from them and then raised to viability under some other circumstances. There are many experiencers who have been shown their children. And this is all very heavy duty emotional stuff. But what I can tell you, Dave, is that these types of violating extractions of DNA and DNA material are at an end. They stopped when that agreement with Truman and later Eisenhower was, expired. And whether you want to think that there is a sort of a Gene Roddenberry-like United Federation of Planets, which I believe that there is. I think that there is some superior body that enforces non-involvement here, or is trying to help us with that.
Is there anything godly or religious about these experiences people are having?
Well, I'm sure they could interpret them that way. I'm a lapsed Catholic, and my feeling is that there's a lot of confusion between spiritual beings and angels and all this sort of and ETs, even in our religious materials. What I do see happening is people are engaging. I have two or three gals right now who are engaging with very highly evolved beings that are only semi-physical. They're really primarily spirit beings, and they're so evolved. And so people are encountering beings within their contact experiences that could fit the descriptor of a divine being. They glow, they're full of love. Now, whether or not they pass in and out of what we call the afterlife, that's also a question. Our so-called afterlife, what is it? Is it simply a dimension where everything is vibrating at a higher rate and matter is not dense? And beings of a certain evolution can pass into that zone if they wish. I don't know. These are all things that are that are there for us to explore.
When people are having these experiences, what is the difference between ET contact and ET abduction?
Wow, Dave, that is a real incredible question. Well, first I would just refer very briefly to what I just discussed, the abductions of the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and into the 70s, which involved the taking of genetic material. These were unpleasant experiences, often causing, physical damage. And, I myself experienced one of those terrible types of what I would have to call abductions, violations. Those are abductions, when people are taken against their will and physically or emotionally manipulated or experimented upon or injured in some way. But as I did explain, these incidents are really quite rare. The worst things that I hear in my hypnosis chair, the worst things that I hear about abuse and things happening to people in relation to this whole subject matter is when when the people that I'm working with have been involved with some human, earthling and ET collaborative program. like in the sense of a secret military program. These are the worst things that I have heard about, what has happened to individuals come from those kinds of experiences. The worst, and there are humans involved, so I don't think we need, Dave, I don't think we need very much help being terrible to each other. I think it's very easy to say, oh, bad ET, good humans. I don't think it's that way at all. I think we deal with many, many, many races of beings. I think we have dealt with many races of beings. Look at Paul Hellyer. He's going to be at ACE. What was the last thing he said? That I think he said something like 72 different types of beings are in regular contact with the Canadian government. And he was our Minister of Defense. I for one, believe him. I think people are having a wide variety of experiences with everything from grays with questionable motives, although those are now rare, to experiences with beings that are so evolved that they really aren't in solid physical bodies.
You know what? I do have questions about Paul Hellyer, though. I really do.
Uh-huh.
And I think I think we're seeing a clone of Paul Hellyer south of the border with Senator Harry Reid right now, who wouldn't say a darn thing about it while he was in office. But all of a sudden, once he's retired, now he's like a yapping puppy dog. And I mean that with all due respect. He's like a yapping puppy dog who's crying the UFO, sky is falling. And I think that Paul Hellyer is a little bit of the same way, because so many incidents happened in and around his tenure as Canada's defense minister. And I remember a couple of years ago when I had him on this show, he stated that while he was in office, he knew nothing about the UFO front. Nothing. And yet now he's claiming that all of this is happening. And it's not that I don't believe Paul Hellyer, because I think he's a very astute, brilliant man, very brilliant man. I mean, what he knows in his pinky fingernail is more than what I will ever know on this subject. And I'm more than willing to pass that respect over to him. However, I find it very ironic, and to me it questions everything, when on this show he states one thing, but afterwards then he's stating another. Well, you had the Stephen Mikulik thing happen. You had the UFO landing pad open in St. Albert. You had, shortly after your tenure, Shag Harbor happen. You would have still been involved passing the torch. Like, how do you not know?
Well, I have to wonder if maybe he wasn't under some type of, gag order for a while following his tenure. I don't know, one of the things that I find most wonderful about him, because of course he's a numbers guy. He's like an accountant by training, and he is very concerned. He's kind of a futurist. His real focus is on economics and surviving into the new era in a different way with a different type of system. So that's one of the things I love to hear him talk about. And I hope that he does talk about that. He's written several books that are, kind of about that subject matter. I hope he gets into that at ACE.
I would like to ask him about that, though, because he will be at Alien Cosmic Expo as well next week in Toronto, Ontario. AlienCosmicExpo.com for the cheap plug. And I don't mind that. I appreciate that. But nonetheless, I would like to ask him that. Paul, you told me this on Spaced Out Radio a few years ago. Did you know what was happening with Stephen Mikulik? Why, and if not, why, as the Minister of Defense, were you not read into that? I want to know that.
Well, I'm sure he will answer you. He's a very forthright guy. So that would be a profound question to ask him. I have to wonder if he just was not able to say certain things at that time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We only got a couple minutes before we need to go to break here at the top of the hour. Lesley Mitchell Clark is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're talking hypnotherapy. In the next hour, Lesley, I want to get into how hypnotherapy works with people who have had ET contact, because I'll tell you, you know as well as I do, I'm a contactee. I'm very open about that.
Yes.
And here I am looking at this entire subject, wondering, would I go through this? Would I want to put myself through anything? Because I only have snippets of the 4 times that I can recall being taken. I only have snippets. Okay. And I'm sure you're used to hearing that. But I don't know if I don't know if I would actually go through it or not. I really don't.
Well, Dave, knowledge is power. I'm telling you, it's never a bad thing to know. And that's what I would have to say about that. And it's not like, and also in the active hypnotherapy, the way we do it, I don't allow you to re-experience trauma. We'll talk more about that, how it works, so people won't have fears if they feel that they want to explore this.
For sure. Do you recommend it? I know this is something that you do for a living, but do you recommend it for those? What if they're mentally unstable? What if they're those type of people who are so wound up tight that they could break at any moment?
Well, certainly I would always err on the side of caution. And if I had any concerns in that realm, I would most likely refer the person to I have 2 dear friends, one a psychiatrist, one a psychotherapist, who are very open-minded about ET experiences, but they would be legally qualified to handle someone who may be in precarious shape.
Precarious shape how? What do you mean by that?
I mean someone who may not be mentally sound, as you said, someone who may not be mentally healthy enough to go through a regression process.
Gotcha. I fully understand. Are most people ready for it, though?
Oh, I believe that by the time people come to me, the law of attraction has brought them just where they need to be, and I do everything to make them feel comfortable and safe. And for most people, it is a really wonderful experience. Not only fascinating, but relieving. And then I also, I always put in a lot of good suggestions, and I get people's endorphins going, and I make sure they're feeling wonderful when they leave.
Well, that's your job, though. You got to make people feel good. You got to make people feel like they are valued and worthy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and not crazy. That's a big one. Many people have sat in my chair and just said to me with tears running down their face, I'm not crazy. I mean, really, this is what a gift that I can help people to get back in touch with who they are and explore these fascinating things that have happened to them, and do it, in a positive way.
Wow. I would trust you. To do it. How long, and I also, when we come back from the break, I want to learn how long it actually takes to do this, to get results. Lesley Mitchell Clark is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're going to learn more about hypnotherapy, how it works when it comes to ET Contactees, coming up after this.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR News Wire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR News Wire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
We're bringing you something new to the documentary world. Beyond the Spectrum will take you on an historic tour of topics like no other. Sasquatch, UFOs, government secrecy, and more. Keeping you on the edge of your seats through the eyes of legendary truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Richard Dolan, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and Jack Kasher. Head on over to Amazon Prime or Tubi TV and check us out. Please leave a comment for the filmmakers on their film's Amazon page. The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESSA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spaced out radio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacy, Richard Dolan, Lesley Mitchell Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thiemer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and down in Reedsport, Oregon, we are on KDUN AM 1030. On the digital side, we welcome in everyone listening in on Revolution Radio and Kingdom of Nye Radio. Don't forget, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/spaced out radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Y'all is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot, fill out a Sightlines report if you've had something strange happen, and read up on Captain Shirk's SOR News Wire, and so much more. We're talking hypnotherapy tonight when it comes to ET Contact and ET Abduction. Lesley Mitchell Clark is our guest. She's a clinical hypnotherapist out of Toronto, Ontario. I have recommended people to her as well. Lesley, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show tonight.
Thank you so much, Dave. Always a pleasure.
And I do want to preface that Lesley and I will both be attending the Alien Cosmic Expo next week in Toronto, Ontario. And tickets can be found at aliencosmicexpo.com. We want to meet as many Spaced Out Radio listeners and fans there as possible, so we encourage you to come on down and say hello to us. Lesley, right before the break, I was asking you in regards to ET Contact and Abduction and the clinical therapy hypnotherapy, that goes along with it. Mm-hmm. When you do this with someone, take us through how it happens.
Well, the way all hypnosis begins is what we call the induction, and that is simply the relaxation of the body and the mind. And it is necessary to relax people into the alpha state and then hopefully even down further into the theta state so that they can achieve a level of trance where that little membrane that separates memory from what we call the present life just dissolves. So the first thing that happens is that, generally I will make people comfortable and they talk to me for a while and I have an understanding of how they process, whether they're visual processors or more kinesthetic processors. So I learn a lot about the person from just chatting with them for the 20 minutes or so before we get into the hypnosis. Now, as I said, we use progressive relaxation in hypnotherapy most of the time, and it is essential for the body to become physically relaxed. And what hypnotists have known for thousands of years is that once the physical body is relaxed, then you can access memories. And now with the real-time mapping of the brain, science has in fact, proven what we and my fellow colleagues going back 6,000 years have always known, that relaxation of the body, when the body gets relaxed enough, when a person feels safe and they can just let go and their brain starts undulating in alpha waves, then we can gently direct that person to the recovery of memories. Now, if I'm doing a rather, deep process like a past life regression or a regression to explore missing time, I take a while to get people where they should be. I take a good, 15, 20 minutes, sometimes even a little bit longer, to really get people into the zone where they will be, totally facile in recovering memories. And, I know that they're in the zone by a number of physical manifestations, respiration, rapid eye movement, capillary skin response. There are a lot of things that I look at to determine that someone is where they need to be. Now, in the course of any kind of regression, whether it's past life or extraterrestrial, the individual speaks to me. And I get them into the zone, and, I'm not going to be real specific about how I do this because I don't want anybody to try it at home. But once someone is where they need to be, I ask them usually a lot of very benign questions like, look around you. What do you see? What do you smell? What can you touch? My whole prime directive is that I cannot lead the hypnotic subject in any way. And when people are in hypnosis, they can, want to please you. So you have to be very, very, very careful about making inadvertent suggestions. So I do a real neutral thing, and the person is able to tell me, often in incredible detail, the kind of detail that you would only expect from, someone with, an eidetic memory. But people are able to recall incredible detail once they're in the zone where they are able to look at the experiences.
I got a couple questions for you from our audience. Mark is asking, is it true that folks from a past life may have birthmarks from injuries from that life?
That's absolutely true. In fact, I've even seen that in a couple of examples, and forgive me for not recalling the name for that. I do know it, but it's slipped into the background there. But yes, that absolutely can occur. You can find many photographs of that type of thing online. There are individuals who have had scars that look like bullet holes that passed as soldiers, and maybe they passed as soldiers in the 1700s. So yes, that is absolutely true. In my experience, I have seen it in person, and I certainly have seen an abundance of research on it. So the body, the etheric body, can hold on to trauma to the point where it can be manifested in a fresh, new genetic body.
All right, let's move on to another question that we have here. Craig is asking, what has come from this communication with this powerful divine beings?
Well, boy, this is going to... What the kinds of things that individuals are hearing is that these beings are here to assist us, but they can't interfere. Sometimes they explain that they have a special connection with the experiencer. In other words, sometimes, and this is going to sound fairly far out, but sometimes beings incarnate on this planet into human bodies, and they have fairly recently incarnated on other planets with other types of beings. So from what I'm hearing, and not just me, but from what all researchers in this area are hearing, we are in a soul group with a lot of different types of beings, and in this soul group there are beings that are, same basic kind of state of evolution that we are in, and there are beings that are below that, and there are beings that are, highly evolved and semi-physical in the way that I described. So there are a wide range of beings in our soul group, and so some of the people that I've been working with lately, and this is very coincidental, 3 or 4 of them regularly go on, journeys with these evolved beings. And the way that this is accomplished is more like astral projection than physically, traveling on some sort of solid craft. They do use craft, but not in the sense that that you probably would think of it most commonly.
When someone is laying on your couch and you say you have control whether or not they're going to have a freak-out session because of the trauma that they may have had during their contact, how do you control that pain, that anxiety that goes along with these scenarios?
Well, we do it in the same way that we work with any kind of trauma, and in any kind of childhood abuse or anything like that. The memories have to be processed and released and put in perspective. And the only way to do that is to look at the experience. Now, you do not have to physically pass through, pass through the memory in a visceral way in order to process it. In other words, say there's an abduction experience, and I will use the term abduction. And in the experience, you're remembering you're on the table and a device comes at you and there's physical pain. Now, as soon as I get an inkling of, what's going on, I turn the client into an observer. And I will simply say, you're not feeling any pain or anxiety. You're floating above. You're looking down at this experience. You understand that it's you, but you have no anxiety. You're able just to look at it objectively and tell me what's happening. And that's what we do. in hypnotherapy. So no one needs to relive in an upsetting, horrifying, painful way, whatever they've been through, whether it's something that happened in this current life, whether it's a thing from a past life, or whether it's a recovered memory from an extraterrestrial encounter.
What kind of beings are people seeing?
Well, there's a pretty big variety, Dave. I've certainly what I would call humanoid beings are very active. Pleiadian type beings. Beings that are often referred to as the Nordics. There are a lot of these beings involved, and of course, there are a number of planetary systems in the Lyra system. That's where the Pleiades are. So there are a lot of beings in those systems that are quite similar to ourselves physically, although, of course, far more advanced from a technological standpoint. So people are seeing the tall whites. People are seeing insectoids. And now this sounds startling and horrifying at first, but insectoid beings are generally loving and kind and extremely peaceful beings. They very often don't want to be seen because they don't want to startle us. And so they're often reported as wearing kind of like monk's robes, like a robe and cowl type deal. Some individuals, when they remember abductions as a child, they call them the brown doctors because they seem to be present at a lot of what I would call examinations, not painful probes. I just mean benign examinations. So there are insectoids being seen. There are some reptilians being seen, although, like anything, there are apparently benevolent ones and also reptilians that have a darker agenda. But there are some benevolent reptilians are being seen. I haven't had anyone talk to me about being on a craft and encountering negative reptilians. I have not had that recounted to me, that particular type of experience. So yes, we've got Nordics, we have insectoids, there are some reptilians. There are also what they call tall whites, which are sort of like a gray in the sense that the head is enlarged, but they are a little bit more humanoid looking than that, and they have elongated skulls rather than bulbous skulls. So those are some of the beings that people are encountering on a regular basis.
The negative ones always seem to get most of the focus because that's what really sells the product. Whether it's in the media, whether it's in movies.
Yep.
The free experiencers set up by the late Dr. Edgar Mitchell, the sixth man to walk on the moon. Their statistics show that about 84% of everybody who has had ET contact said that they had a pleasant experience and they'd like it to happen again. Yet the negative experiences seem to get a lot more play. What do you think your average is in regards to positive to negative contact?
Well, I really have to agree with the statistics that Ray and the good folks over at Free are coming up with. I think when we first started talking, I think it's about 90% for me. The people that come here about 90% of the time, and they end up, and I don't want to say end up, but they generally evolve to the point where they are able to communicate with the beings that they have experiences with in real time. So they end up, usually the people that come here, not only do they have enlightening experiences, to say the least, but they find that their own skills telepathy and their own skills begin to improve dramatically once they acknowledge that they are really engaging with these beings. It's like stuff wakes up. It's like a plant coming to life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So with the species that people are having contact with, you're saying that you've only dealt with very few negative experiences.
Yes.
The ones we always hear about are the anal probing. We always hear about, the eyeballs having needles inserted into them, much like we saw in Fire in the Sky. The real circus stuff that a lot of people out there talk about, whether it's Whitley Strieber, whether it's Travis Walton, whomever it may be.
Well, there is a real, there are a number of these David Gage type of, consciousnesses going on where these experiences are taking such a huge amount of focus. Now, I have to think that it may be because the individuals that some of these people are working with, as far as interviewing them, knowing about their experiences. Some of these individuals may be older and may have they may be at least my age, and they may have been having experiences that were under the old regime, so to speak, and they're sort of stuck there. Because they're not really being healed. They're not releasing the experiences and processing them. They're just sort of reliving them over and over again with whatever kind of therapy, is going on, or no therapy. So all I can say is I really agree with, and I think MUFON, although they don't really, I think Kathy Martin's research would probably show a very similar statistic. That at least 90% of the experiences that people report to me are positive and recurring and enlightening.
Do you believe these downloads people are getting?
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, both of us have a mutual friend, Grant Cameron, who believes that he had one or more really big illuminating downloads of information, because at one time, Grant was pretty much on a one-track thing. He was the guy, is still the guy who knows everything about what presidents of the United States knew, when they knew it, and et cetera, et cetera. He in fact, his website is still called the President's UFO, or the Presidential UFO.
White House.
So that was
Presidential UFO. That's right.
That's it. So that was his thing. And then, as he told me, he was sitting at a UFO conference, and the information, he was in a point of receptivity, I'm sure, and the information just came flowing in. And then after that, he had, another book, and he had a whole new fascinating presentation where he talked about communication, and he got into, subjects of autism and brain damage. It was fascinating, and a total 180 from, the kind of work that he was doing previously. So just to look at Grant Cameron, I have to say it's possible.
See, for somebody like Grant to say it, okay, who has a lot of studying and research in this field, I buy it. But we'll get more into this after the break, because I just ran out of time. Lesley Mitchell Clark is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Hypnotherapy with ET Abductees and Contactees. Downloads, do you buy them? We'll get to it right after this.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR News Wire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR News Wire at spacedoutradio.com today.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com. we're bringing you something new to the documentary world. Beyond the Spectrum will take you on an historic tour of topics like no other: Sasquatch, UFOs, government secrecy, and more, keeping you on the edge of your seats through the eyes of legendary truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Richard Dolan, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and Jack Kasher. Head on over to Amazon Prime or Tubi TV and check us out. Please leave a comment for the filmmakers on their film's Amazon page.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology: Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Welcome back to the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to remind each and every one of you that, hey, if you want to listen to any of our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot, fill out a Sightlines report, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR News Wire, and go from there. Tonight we are talking clinical hypnotherapy when it comes to ET Contact, alien abductions. What is going on? The one we ask is Lesley Mitchell Clark, out of Toronto, Ontario. She is a certified clinical hypnotherapist. We will be meeting together for the first time at Alien Cosmic Expo in Toronto next week, the 21st and 22nd, 23rd. So make sure you come out to Toronto and join us. Tickets can be found at aliencosmicexpo.com. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here tonight, Lesley.
Oh, it is my pleasure, Dave, as always. And we're certainly getting into some interesting stuff, that's for sure. And I always, your wonderful listeners always have such interesting questions, too. That's another reason I love to guest on your show. Your peeps always have great questions.
Well, I appreciate that, and I absolutely do. And let's get to a question right off the bat here. Aluros is asking, Lesley, are you going to be able to prove anything with your idea of OD study? Do you feel any obligation to prove anything?
Oh, OD study? I'm sorry. What does he mean?
I don't know. Maybe there was a little spelling error there. In your field of study, in your area of study. Pardon me, I read that wrong.
Like hard, solid proof of.
Yeah, are you? Is there anything to prove? Let's re-ask it. Is there anything to prove outside of the experience?
Well, it's very difficult with the experiencer issue. Now, there are certainly most of the people that I work with have a lot of physical markings. A lot of them have little triangles. Some of them have other types of markings. I had a gal here last month who had a long, slender line, as if, it looked like her arm had been opened up and put back together. So there are often physical marks. And sometimes, although, Dr. Lear has passed away, who did most of this work, there are also implants that get recovered. And certainly any of these implants that have been able to be removed have have been mysterious indeed. They may have, odd elements in them. Some of them are magnetic. Some of them are sending out, EMF emanations. So there are physicalizations that something is happening to people. There was also some research done on a couple of naval officers. I don't know if they were officers; they may have been crewmen, but they were very, very close to a USO. I don't think it was the Shag Harbor. I think it was much more recent than that. It was also not Canada. It was in the United States. So there was a downed USO that leaked some type of substance, and they were both around it. And for some reason, they tested the blood of both of these gentlemen, and they both had some very strange blood anomalies that could not be explained. And the only thing that these two men had in common is separately they were exposed to something coming out, emanating from a USO as it entered the ocean. So there is physical evidence. It would be a wonderful thing if, we could get implants intact. That's very rare, and I guess part of it is because Dr. Lear, and there are a lot of footage about this on YouTube, but implants can sort of retreat. They would have the ability to move away from the device that he was trying to use to remove them. And they can also disintegrate when they're exposed to the air. So it's been it's been tricky, getting an implant, because they certainly do exist. They happen, they get installed. Some of them have that have been recovered, especially from nasal cavities, look like tiny BBs. And again, some of them are magnetic, some of them are emitting some type of EMF emanation. So as far as physical evidence, for the time being, that's what we have. And so the work that I do, rather than it being an evidentiary type of thing, it's more to do with the personal journey of the experiencer and that person's well-being. So I kind of think of it as one person at a time.
Well, I'm just wondering if all experiences have some sort of pattern that you have noticed, because in order to help solve problems, you need to find the patterns as to why this is happening, and in between the experiences as well. Have you been able to decipher any of those patterns?
Well, some of the commonalities are that these individuals come from a line of people, familial people, who have higher than normal psychic abilities. And this is most often seen coming through the female line, or people, or females are more likely to talk about it. But this is a commonality where, I will have, say, someone sitting in my chair and they'll say, well, my mother could talk to so-and-so, my grandmother was a healer, and blah. So there seems to be a commonality of increased psychic ability, which, leads me to believe that maybe at least some of the beings are interested in following their genetic progeny, because I believe that we are, in fact, hybrid beings with many different influences. So there could be a kind of a connection where evolved beings are following certain genetic lines that seem to be carrying DNA with increased psychic ability. That could be an aspect. It could just be that they're looking for good DNA with people who naturally are telepathic because it's easier to communicate with them. I know that a lot of the time when I have people under hypnosis and they're telling me about encounters and conversing with the different beings, they're conversing, but it's often a telepathic conversing. Like I will say, is the being's mouth moving? And they'll say, no, but we're talking. So this ability to communicate telepathically is very important to a lot of beings. So that may be a factor too. Now, we've got that going. Now, another commonality that I found, and not myself alone, but there are many individuals who have had experiences beginning as a child with the Black Ops secret space program who are from a military family or who may have been stationed along the DEW line. Are you familiar with that term, the DEW line, Dave? It's kind of. Do you know what I mean by that?
I have heard it before. Yes, but our audience may not.
It's an American. Yeah, it's an American term. I don't know if the Canadians used it, but it was a Canadian and American, cooperative operation where they established a number of military bases in as far north as we can get, but without going off into Baffin Island, but also the DEW line was so it was above it was Canada definitely, but it was designed to be a viewpoint for Russian activity. So the DEW line is a Cold War thing.
Okay.
And so many people, from my age group, who have had these experiences with the secret space program, grew up in military families, sometimes generations of military families, and were stationed on the DEW line. And that's not the first. I have heard, actually, come to think of it, many. Not necessarily just the DEW line, many people who do talk to me, and not everybody that I talk to do I get to work with. I talk to a lot of people on the phone and just counsel them, right, and try to help them find someone maybe near to where they live. So I do talk to people from all over the place, and many of them had parents in the military, and they were stationed on bases. Or rather, grew up on bases, that their parents were stationed on.
So with those similarities that people are having in regards to, let's say, their ET contact, is it family lineage that brings it on? Is it friendship? Like say you're in a contactee and your best friend isn't, but now that person is hanging out with you, that they could have the possibility of becoming an ET contact as well?
It seems to be more selective than that, Dave, because I've heard plenty of stories where kids were out playing around with their best friend, in the unsupervised way that we used to play as kids out in nature, and one of the kids will just, be put to sleep. He'll just sit down and go to sleep, and the other kid will be taken, the one that they're interested in. And so it seems to be pretty selective. So I, as you just said, I believe that they're looking for certain genetic qualities, and either they're looking for people to use as people that they want to harvest genetic material from. Certainly, that might have been one of the reasons, until into the 70s, until all that nasty business stopped. But I think certainly they were looking for breeding stock too, and that's on the dark side, but I know that did happen.
We've got about 8 minutes left before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. Lesley Mitchell Clark, hypnotherapist out of Toronto, Ontario, is our guest tonight. Lesley, what about people who are suffering from the hybridization program? How different are their experiences comparatively to somebody who gets taken or gets these downloads that we've talked so much about?
Well, there are for the women that have been taken and utilized in this way, they often have fertility problems, and often they have, symptoms physically of having had many pregnancies that were terminated. In other words, they may have, cervical incompetence or, some of these things that happens from having many, many children or many, many, terminated pregnancies. So there are physical repercussions for women often, not so much for men. When they take samples from men, they will often use a lot of screen imaging. If you know, and this is something that Wes Roberts has described. I don't know if we go into it in the book. I think it's coming in the next book. But Wes Roberts told me that on three to four occasions, and this was back quite a while, sperm samples were taken from him, and in his mind, he thought or saw that it was a woman, and it was pleasant, and then he sort of came to and realized that it was like a mechanical device that was taking the material. I'm trying to speak as eloquently as I can about a very horrible thing. So that has been done. It's a violation for men as much as it is for women.
It really is. It really is, and I can see that being a violation because for so many people, it's our choice what happens to our body. Yes. Even like with my child, he's 6 years old, but he is known for the last 4.5 years, that his body is his body, and that's what we've tried to teach him. We've taught all our kids that, and any good parent would. And, this is where I can see the trauma and the emotions that go along with the hybridization program.
Yes, it was horrifying. And then we touched on this briefly in the first hour, but when these dear people, these experiencers, are shown their children, it is very emotional. It's emotional for both the men and the women, and they feel connected to them, and they don't want to, the clients feel, the experiencers feel connected to these children, and they don't want to leave them. And they're upset because they know they have to leave them. And it's a whole ball of emotions. And believe me, when it comes time where people are showed their children and they get to hold them and have them on their lap and what have you, the tears are running, believe me. It's very, very emotionally charged. And that apparently is, at least in the world of the Greys, this kind of emotional parental attachment is something that they don't understand or lost along the way. And they think that by bringing, they seem to think that by bringing their, the abductees that fathered and mothered these children back onto the ship and having them hold them for a while, that's going to somehow take care of those needs with the children. You know what I mean? It's a very emotional subject for most experiencers who have had that happen to them.
It really is, and you can't blame them for feeling that way. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not a good experience. It makes you sick to your stomach, knowing that you have no control of your own body. And I know one time that I was taken, I do not talk about that. I do not talk about what happened there. It just it scares the daylights out of me. But I've also had the cool experiences as well.
Yes.
You know? So now the question that I have for you is, we got about 3 minutes here. The question I have for you in regards to that is, how do we know the good memories are not implanted memories?
Well, the funny thing about the memory, Dave, is you cannot suppress painful memories without also suppressing good memories. So when we start to get in there and we, relieve some of the more traumatic experiences, the good memories are going to start bubbling up because everything has been suppressed. That's kind of how it works. So I guess you may ask me, is it possible for someone who's a good actor or a con man or a sociopath to fool a hypnotherapist, to not be in trance and to make up a bunch of shit? Well, I would have to say it may be possible, but I would have to say at the level of intuition that I use, and just with the volume of work and how much I rely on my own instincts, I believe that I don't think that I could be fooled in that way. I would like to think I cannot be fooled in that way. I'll put it like that. I don't want to sound like a big head. All I'm saying is that at this point, the work I do, a lot of it has to do with, I don't know, intuition, things I pick up, strong feelings, and I have learned to trust myself in that department.
As you should. As you should, for sure.
Well, sometimes it's hard to trust yourself when you're dealing with such arcane and, such arcane material that really pushes the boundaries of what one can accept.
Those boundaries can be pretty far off.
Yes.
Especially for those who have no belief in the phenomenon at all.
Yes. I think the only thing that I'm not a big one on, demonology and that kind of thing. I think there can be spirits that are trapped or prefer to stay, in that sort of earthly junkyard, the in-betweens, right? But as far as demonic figures, I'm not too sure about that, because I think humans are perfectly capable of emanating a lot of evil. I don't think it has to be a demon. So, so those are the things. And of course, I have a very hard time with, when people talk to me about maybe religious figures that they feel are involved in their experiences.
Right.
And that, when, I hear people say, well, I had a conversation with St. Michael I just have to accept that is their experience.
And on that note, go ahead, finish up.
Oh no, and just not analyze it anymore.
On that note, we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Lesley Mitchell Clark will be talking hypnotherapy in the next half hour of Hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio. We're going to get to your questions. I see them building up. It's all about you guys listening in the next half hour on the SOR.
Oh, excellent.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thiemer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR News Wire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR News Wire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Lesley Mitchell Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
we're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com. Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, and we're on in Dangerfield, Texas, KDNF AM 1560. Don't forget you can check out our digital site as well, Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio, and our archives are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Y'all is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR News Wire, rock out to Bumblefoot, or if you're an experiencer of something strange and weird, fill out a Sightlines report. For the final time tonight, we introduce Lesley Mitchell Clark. She is from Toronto, Ontario. She works with MUFON. She is a very talented jazz artist as well. I do have to say that. I did. I went there. I totally went there.
Thank you.
But you know what? I love me some jazz and blues. I do.
Excellent.
Yes. Who's your favorite blues artist right now?
Well, I'm not super big on blues, but let's see. I love Dinah Washington. I love Carmen McRae. I loved. Let's see. Well, who would you consider a straight-ahead blues artist? Is there somebody that you love, Dave?
You know who I love right now? It's a lady out of Chicago. Her name is Joanna Carter, or pardon me, Joanna Connor, not Carter. Connor. And the way she makes her Les Paul guitar scream, it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. And I, when I am writing my blogs or I am just in the mood just to have a chill time, I just crank her music. And Joe Bonamassa, you know who Joe Bonamassa is. He is one of the best guitarists out there in the world. And recently he tweeted, the biggest shame in music right now is not many people know who Joanna Connor is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, a statement like that can help a lot. And jazz and blues are always going to be a niche music. And part of the issue is because it takes an intelligence to understand jazz and blues. It's a thinking person. It's a thinking person's type of music, right? So the appeal is not necessarily. Now, there was a time when jazz was the popular music, when there were big bands, you know, big band jazz, if you wish to use that term. That was the popular music. And so jazz and blues come in and out of popularity, sometimes more, sometimes less. But we do in Canada have an awful lot of fantastic jazz festivals, and throughout the United States, too. There are a lot of people who are experimenting with, the many colors of jazz. There's all kinds of jazz and blues, that's for sure.
We got you for.
I'm sorry. I was just going to tell you, Dave. You've got to look up a Vancouver band called Blue Marquee. They are a blues kind of a retro Depression era blues group. It's a duo, but I just reviewed their latest album, and they're just I know you will love them. So check that out.
I will totally check that out. Speaking of checking things out, we got a bunch of questions from our audience here.
Good.
And we only got about 17 minutes. Trip is asking, in regards to downloads, why hasn't anyone figured out how to upload their downloads, or are they to find someone to be their uploader?
Oh, boy. Dave?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. Is the question?
Well, in regards to the uploads or downloads that people are getting, pardon me. All right.
Yes.
You know, basically, I think the question translated is, how come we haven't been able to find anybody who could break down those downloads for what they actually mean, and like uploading them onto a computer? I don't know. Maybe somebody should have a USB stick.
I think that's in the future. I think that's not that far out. That's a little bit of science fiction, but I don't think it's that far away, because information is contained in the Akasha. There's information is I guess digital, and why couldn't it be downloaded and uploaded into organic beings? I don't see why not. I think that's something in the future, certainly. I think many people in history have received downloads. Nikola Tesla, Da Vinci, the brilliant doctors who invented insulin here in Canada. The men that decoded the human genome, and women. People are getting downloads all the time, and are not thinking of it in that way. They may be using the term, well, it was inspiration, or it just popped into my brain. Why did it just pop into your brain? Ideas are really things, and you can see it oftentimes, oddly, in the television or film industry, when you'll see maybe 3 or 4 films really about the same kind of subject matter or the same thing, being developed separately and then released around the same time. So ideas are just like they're floating around. The downloads are available. I think you just have to be open to them.
Gotcha.
It's my personal opinion. You just have to desire it and be open. The information is there. It's in the Akasha. We can all receive it.
All right. Catherine is asking, what is the weight of the situation when you are dealing with a person with an implant and removal? What is the situation psychologically wise?
There was a young lady, and this was a few years ago, and she had a partial memory of receiving an implant in a very painful way when she was a tiny little girl, maybe not even 5, probably. Now this implant, if we can call it that, was in her, as I remember, her upper left bicep, that big muscle right at the top, almost where your smallpox vaccination would be, right? That's where the implant was. And it was magnetic. Like she could put metal objects, little metal, on her arm, and they would just stick there. It was magnetic. Now, Sid Goldberg, who, if you don't know him, you'll meet him at ACE. He's a colleague of mine. He now is a producer-director for Gaia, but he was making a film in which this was an episode. So he actually was able to take this young lady to Montreal, I believe, where he had a surgeon remove the implant. And the implant was then analyzed, in the mass spectrometer, and there was metal in it, unidentified metal, and it looked like some, human tissue, like calcium had grown around whatever the metal was. And they sliced it up, into thin little things and looked at it. So there are a lot of unanswered questions about that implant, which I believe Sid is bringing it with him to ACE. I believe it's in his possession.
I want to see
So you
that.
will see it. You will see it. But this young lady had again. Here we have a military involvement. Not only did she grow up in bases across Canada and in the DEW line, but her father was not just in the regular military. He was in some type of Secret Service aspect of it.
Do you find that more ET contactees are from military families?
From what I'm seeing, they are. From what I'm seeing, they definitely are. Now, one has to wonder, is it just accessibility? Have the children of military families been enhanced or involved in some of these programs? Because that's what I see going on. And, there have even been occasions where parents have given their permission to, involve their children in some of these activities.
Scary. Very scary.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio, where Maureen is asking, do the patients you deal with have any qualities in common other than being abducted, such as lifestyle, quality of life, etc.?
It's a very interesting question. What I can say is there is a wide variety in the careers that people have and how they function. Some experiencers are highly functional. They are lawyers, doctors. All these people come to me: lawyers, doctors, teachers, accountants. Really people who seem to have it all together. And then they have this sort of secret part of their life that really nobody knows about, which they keep segmented, I should say, sort of away. So there are individuals like that. Now there are also individuals who are very psychic and very wide open and very comfortable with their experiences. They just need like a little help from me in remembering, right, and getting it back. They don't have fear. They seem to be completely comfortable with the whole thing. So that is an aspect which is maybe more unusual, someone like that. And then I have, in the smallest percentage, there are the experiencers who are damaged people. And this has happened, from a variety of reasons, terrifying abductions as children, maybe even they come from dysfunctional homes where there was abuse on top of all of that. So I do have a percentage of people that are really barely functional. They seem to have a very specific type of post-traumatic stress disorder. They have sleep disorders because they're terrified to sleep. So those are the people that I really, really give my all to help them to heal and to take their power back and not to feel that they are victims, and to work on establishing a détente or an agreement with the beings that are taking them.
Can we end it?
Yeah. We can. It's a universe of free will. In fact, many people report when they reach like a period, an age of accountability, say, 16, 17, where they're taken before, a kind of a council or panel and asked if they want to continue with the work. So we do have choice, and we can tell the beings not to invade our space, not to bother us. And one thing I did for, Wes Roberts, who is co-authored my recent book with me, and he's, of course, is a lifelong experiencer. That poor man hadn't slept for years because all this stuff was going on, during the week and what have you. And I just said to him one day, I guess it was a download, it was just an idea. I said, now this time when you're in trance, we're going to talk to the beings, and you're going to explain to them about sleep and that you need your sleep. And you'll be happy to work with them on the weekends, but during the week, they're going to have to understand that you have to sleep. And it worked. So they only began, having so his experiences then, from that point to this, are pretty much confined to the weekends.
Oh, he's lucky. He's lucky.
By agreement. He made an agreement. Now, these were very benign beings that he was, and they looked they were another type from all the types I mentioned. They were very tall and slender, and so slender that you could hardly tell the difference between males and females. They really didn't have a big difference in the way that they looked. So those were the beings he was engaging with.
We got you for another 5 minutes. Our guest tonight, Lesley Mitchell Clark on Spaced Out Radio. We are taking questions from the audience if you're in one of the chat rooms, or on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio. Mark is asking, according to the remote viewers, there will be a dramatic reduction of human life on Earth by the year 2040. Does that have anything to do with the contract running out now? And I'm going to assume, and please, Mark, in the chat room, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's meaning about the Eisenhower contract. Yeah. And as far as I knew, that runs out next year in 2020.
I think that is out already. I think the Eisenhower contract is in fact done, if I'm not mistaken. But what I know that remote viewers are seeing a reduction in population. But of course, we must remember that there are many probable timelines. There are many possible timelines. And we, in fact, during the course of our life, shift between them. It's a universe of quantum entanglement. So even if remote viewers are seeing a certain future, that does not mean that it's going to manifest for, our destination Earth, which is still stuck in the third density. So I don't know of any particular connection between the reduction of our numbers and the agreement that had been made, with Truman and Eisenhower. I don't know of any connection between those two things. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm not saying there isn't. My mind is open as always. I'm just not personally aware of that. And the people that I do know some very excellent remote viewers who have, graduated from the Monroe Institute, etc. And they have told me some very positive things about the future, and not necessarily that that population is reduced, but that we've learned how to live in harmony with the planet, and so that we don't have our urban centers are not anywhere near as dense in the future as they are now, because people are living in the environment, and it's just a different perspective.
I think so too. It's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. I don't buy into the whole doom and gloom. I never have.
No. Wait until 0 point energy. The doom and gloom is going to be emanating from the greedy fascists who have been, controlling the population of the world through manipulation of different kinds, fear mostly, and there are a lot of things. There are a lot of amazing things that are on the horizon. They could significantly change our reality for the better almost overnight.
Well, we'll have to see if that happens. We only got about 2 minutes left with you tonight on Spaced Out Radio, Lesley, and I want to say a big thank you for you taking time out of your evening, or I guess this would be early morning for you.
Yes.
Because it's past midnight Pacific or Eastern now. You're at 2:30 in the morning there.
It's 2:30 in the morning, yeah.
Oh, come over
My
this way.
husband just stuck his head in and looked at me like, what the hell are you doing up?
Well, you know what? I could honestly say when I see you next week in Toronto at the Alien Cosmic Expo, the one thing that's going to mess me up is while all of you on the East Coast are heading off to bed to get your good night's sleep, old Davey will still be awake, hanging out, wondering, where's everybody going?
Oh, I think you'll have plenty of company. You would be surprised at how hard the experiencers can party.
Well, I'm willing to go for it, and I know there's a few Spaced Out Radio listeners who will be in attendance from the East Coast.
Excellent.
So I'm very much looking forward to meeting them, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Do me a favor this last 30 to 45 seconds. If you could tell everybody your website, where they could find your work, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, I will, Dave. And so this is me, Lesley Mitchell Clark, and you can always reach me by email at Lesley, that's Lesley, at lightworkhypnosis.com. And you can reach me on Facebook, either on my Lightwork Hypnosis page or my Contactee page, or Lesley Mitchell Clark. And my office number here in Toronto is 416-486-6742, and you can call 24 hours a day.
Perfect. Coming up next, we have the SOR News Wire and the thought of the day to finish it off. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio after this.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thiemer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com. At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR News Wire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR News Wire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacy, Richard Dolan, Lesley Mitchell Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Would love to welcome you all in if you don't mind. Reminder to all of you that if you want to check out our free archives, they are at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Wait till the show's over, though. I'd appreciate that. And, of course, you could fill out a Sightlines report if you've had any strange encounters you want checked out. And Captain Shirk, the lover of Rob Zombie, updates our news every single day to make it look good. Everything at spacedoutradio.com. Speaking of the news, let's get to the SOR News Wire, shall we? The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR News Wire at the back end of every show. We get to the weird, the strange, those stories that just seem so unbelievable that we're going to tell you them anyways, because that's how we like to roll. All right, we are going to start off here in Finland. A reindeer that wandered into the middle of a military exercise in Lapland caused a pileup of armored vehicles with 12 soldiers rushed to hospital. A Pasi armored personnel carrier crashed into the one in front, which swerved to avoid the reindeer. A statement coming from the Kainuu Brigade. Yeah, 28 people were traveling in the two vehicles during the defense exercises. Then, 5 Army reservists remained under observation in hospital while remaining personnel had returned to duties and were continuing with the exercise. Finnish Lapland is home to up to 340,000 reindeer during summer, and the animals represent a real hazard. Not at least as they tend not to fear motor vehicles. Reindeer are especially prone to run onto roads as they try to escape the clouds of mosquitoes that descend on the region's forest during late summer. As many as 20 reindeer a day can be involved in collisions during the first months of winter, according to Finland's Traffic Safety Agency. Some herders have experimented with spraying glow-in-the-dark paint onto the antlers of the reindeers to reduce the number of lost to road accidents. Reindeer. Careful. It's like that with deer around here. Seriously. The deer are everywhere. You don't want to hit one of them. They do damage. And then if you smoke a moose, you're lucky to be alive. Seriously. A Turkish free diver broke a Guinness World Record for the longest underwater walk with one breath when she went underwater and strolled for 267 feet, 8.6 inches. Bilge, what the hell is her name? Clingy Jure? All right, let's just call her Bilge. Broke the record in the female category and even surpassed the male category record holder, whose walk went for 267 feet and 3.24 inches. Yeah, Bilge previously held the record in 2017 when she walked 220 feet underwater, but her accomplishment was later surpassed the same year by Russian athlete Marina Kazankova. See, I can pronounce a Russian name, but this Clinging Jure, okay, here's how it's spelled. Clingigray. So the last part is Jure, or is it Gure? Let's say it's Jure. Clingy Jure or Clingy Jure? Bilge is the first name. The athlete's latest attempt was performed in front of a cheering crowd at the Agaoglu. Who is naming these things in these stories? You know what? Hell with that story. Seriously. Gone. Bye. Finished. All right. An animal control officer responded to a report of an escaped livestock in Virginia. And when they pulled up on the road, they discovered an unexpected animal. A yak. Nelson County Animal Control Officer Kevin Wright said he was expecting a black Angus cow or maybe another livestock animal more common to the area when he responded to the call. They didn't say anything about a yak, Wright said. The yak escaped the area and fled into the mountains. Wright learned the animal, named Meteor, had been traveling on a trailer from a Buckingham farm to a butcher where he made a run for it. Smart yak. Maybe it was yak shaving day. Oh, I think that was August 30th. Anybody catch the Ren and Stimpy portion of that? Yak shaving day? Somebody confirm that for me. Yak shaving day. Anyways, I think the thing made a blanket for it and took off, Wright said. Meteor was spotted on Wednesday around the Orchard House bed and breakfast, but left the area before authorities arrived. Yeah. Big yak. How do you even stop a yak? Can you tranquilize him? I guess you would have to. Yak. A driver's dashboard camera captured a video of a fireball glowing in the night sky over North Carolina. The video shows the fireball streaking towards the horizon for about 3 seconds as the driver traveled on Raleigh Road in Wilson about 8:07 p.m. yesterday. The American Meteor Society said there were about 20 reports of fireball sightings around the same time from as far away as South Carolina and Virginia. The AMS says the fireball's trajectory appeared to be heading towards the coast of Morehead City. That'd be kind of cool to walk up on a meteorite. I'd love to see one. A New Zealand man who was told he could bring someone along for support to a meeting where he expected to be fired, spent more than $100 hiring a professional clown. Joshua Jack said he received an email from bosses at Auckland Ad Agency, FCB, telling him a meeting was being held to discuss his future at the company and he could bring a friend or family member as a support person, a common practice at redundancy meetings in New Zealand. So, sensing the bad news, Jack went on to hire a clown. Jack shared photos from the meeting, which featured the clown in full makeup, making balloon animals, while Jack's superiors at the company broke the news that he was being let go. It was a rather noisy him making balloon animals, so we all had to tell him to be quiet from time to time, Jack said on the radio. He went on to say his bosses saw the humor in the situation. Again, he was $200, so he was, I assume, one of the best clowns in Auckland. They were getting a free service. They were also getting entertainment from Joe the Clown. Jack said the story has a happy ending. He already has a new job with a competing agency. Okay. This is one of these things where I think we're taking yoga too far. A Florida farm says it expects more than 500 people to participate in its attempt to break a Guinness World Record for the world's largest goat yoga session. You know, you just can't make this thing up. Who thinks of this? Who thinks yoga with goats is going to be fun? They're nibbling. They're going to eat everything. Go after your pants, your brand new shoes. They're going to climb all over you with their dirty little hooves. Well, Debbie Canton, who owns Grady Goat Farm with her husband Rob, said more than 500 people and 110 goats are expected to participate in the world record attempt. The current record, this has been done before? Oh my gosh, and in my hometown too. I never knew this. The current record stands at 351 people and 84 goats set in February at a goat class in Arizona. And Man Farms, by the way, great apples there. They got a good corn maze. Well, that's in Abbotsford, British Columbia, where I grew up. They unofficially broke the record in June with more than 400 people participating. We're going to smash this record, Canton says. Canton says the reservations for the full event are full, but interested participants can be added to a waiting list in case space opens up in time for Saturday's attempt. The record attempt is a fundraiser for Global Offensive Against Trafficking, or Project GOAT, a project that opposes human trafficking and sexual exploitation of children, so it's for a good cause. Okay, I can let this go for a good cause. The project is part of the Grady Goat Foundation and charity founded by the Cantons. Okay, it's for a good cause, but I can't believe my hometown. I didn't realize there were that many goats in my hometown. Honestly, that kind of surprises me. I thought it was all cattle and chickens. Never see any goats around. It's cattle and chickens. All right, let's move on. A Los Angeles brewery has posted an incredible job. If you like beer and if you like football, none of that soccer variety, real football, there's a job for you. Get your resumes ready because I'm going to tell you where it is. All right. Yeah, this Los Angeles brewery has posted a job opening for someone seeking to get paid to watch football at LA Rams games. Golden Road Brewery said its chief beer officer, what a title, chief beer officer, will be paid $150 per event to attend every Los Angeles Rams home game and promote the brewery's product, especially the new Who's House Blonde Ale. You need to be willing to get paid to watch football, promote the Golden Road brand, and all that comes with it, the job posting says. The posting says an ideal candidate will have 1 to 35 plus years tailgating experience and a deep love for the Los Angeles Rams. Applicants who must be 21 years of age or older, 19 up here in Canada, by the way, are being asked to follow at Golden Road Brew on Instagram and tag the company and the sports team in a post explaining why they would be the ideal candidate. The post should include the designated hashtag Golden Road CBO, #contest. Wonder how many likes they're going to get. That's a great promotion, by the way. Fantastic promotion. And nobody has to tattoo it on their forehead. That's even better. Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Day is as follows. If you were or are an ET contactee, would you see a hypnotherapist to recover memories? So, as part of my own disclosure, I will say this. Lesley Mitchell Clark, who is on tonight, has asked me if I want a regression therapy in Toronto while I am there for Alien Cosmic Expo. I said, sure. So I'm going to try it out. What does it hurt? I'm going to try it out. See what comes out. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of crap stuffed in there. So I'm going to try it on out. Why not? I'll report on it if it happens. If we have time. We'll see where it goes. Goddess Michelle. No, because it will eventually come back to me. Chris Cogswell, the mad scientist. Please don't go see a hypnotherapist. Collie. I will not. Power of suggestion. The memories will never make sense until we do. Oh, that's a powerful term right there. Joe. No. One can never be sure of retrieving false memories induced by their hypnotherapist, including or introducing their own preconceived opinions into their questioning. Besides, I do not fear ET contact if it would ever happen to me. I would have to bury my experience down into my subconscious. Moving on. Foya Boy Mike. Yes, very likely I would. Side note. What do you think Tom DeLong is talking about? Where he says, great read and very good reporting. Can't wait to show you guys what we have in store next week. World is about to blow. Remember when I said read between the lines, I meant it. People will try to discount the TTSA, but by next week, that will no longer be possible. Well, I hope he's right. Tom always screws up with his timelines. We've had next week lots of times. Andreas. Nope, not going there. Serena. Yes, I would. The question is, why haven't I? Trust, not knowing a hypnotherapist, not having a solid recommendation, not knowing their technique, success rate, understanding, compassion for the subject. Peter. No. They do what they do for a reason, and I know their intentions are peaceful, so I have to trust them. Mark. Had a dream that I was moving through my wall down a long hallway. Crazy thing is, I was conscious of the fact that my room was not big enough to be moving forward for so long. Spoke to one of your guests and planning a trip to Canada for regression session. Thanks, Mark. Q. Who names their child Q? I would write a report. If I were an abductee, I'd go to a hospital. If I were an alien, I'd be aliening. That's awesome. That could be a t-shirt. Aliening. Catherine? Aliening. Julie? I haven't yet. I would only if I really trusted them. CE5 Canada. 10-4, Dave. Need to know all the details. Chris. We call him Chrisomania right now. Hashtag Chrisomania. When he goes flying off the handle, he's like ripping his shirt after eating his vitamins and saying his prayers. Chrisomania runs wild in him. Big no. I don't want to open Pandora's box. I'd rather just remember what happened to me and move on. A51S. As far as I see it, why not? Nathan Wood. Greg says, definitely. I wouldn't mind finding out for myself what the F is going on. Dandelion. I wouldn't. Self-hypnosis with a pen and paper seems to work best. Some things I'm not meant to remember until it's time. Graham. I already have had recall and would rather not go to a hypnotherapist. Got some old scars I don't want disturbed, my good friend. Dominic. Would you pray if God gave you a miracle first? Space Chaser. Not a chance. Ethereal Girl. I'd love a QHHT session. I don't know what that means. Lack of local practitioners and dollars are preventing it at the moment. API. 2 words. Satanic panic. Mr. I want the truth. No, those petrified memories I still remember, feel 20 years later, remind me that it wouldn't be a good idea. Mike, maybe. The wrong one can introduce memories that were never there by suggestion or color the memories. It would have to be someone who can get the info out without those problems. Any self-hypnosis can be effective. I do that. Kanzi, if you're being visited by the small grays, no. The ones that have visited me for years look like us, but are heaps taller and the muscular and have a white glow about them and have never been a physical threat. I was first visited at 8 years old. Last visit was 5 years ago, aged 49. I could say more about my experiences, but people think I'm nuts when I've told them that things, so I now just say nothing and keep it to myself. I'm 6'1" and they tower over me. I'd say they're at least 7 foot tall. When they talk to you, there's no words spoken, but somehow you know what they're saying. It's bizarre how they know what your thoughts are before you even speak. They answer what you're about to ask them. Oh, that's eerie. Rachel, no. I would respect my brain's decision to block the memories out until I was ready to remember. Barther. It's Arthur with a B. Barther. No, because the brain does not work that way. Tarot. 1,000% I'd do it. Eric Mitchell says he has. Sparky says she would. Kelly, good question. Do I do the hypnosis and know that aliens are real? Or do I go under to find out that not only are aliens real, but I remember getting Whitleyd? Damn, some things may be just best left in the dark. William Pullen from Reality Paranormal. No. His goatee you could see the goatee just going, no. Even medical professionals don't know how hypnosis works, so I would not be comfortable allowing an individual who may not be qualified to conduct hypnosis and possibly taint any memories I might have in my mind. Want to say a big thank you to everybody participating in the Thought of the Dave this week on Twitter and on Facebook. Hey, we had a good show tonight. We really did. Want to give a shout out to Captain Shirk for the fantastic news she put together for the SOR News Wire, and Lesley Mitchell Clark for coming on in and hanging out with us, talking hypnotherapy with ET Contactees and Abductees. Do you believe? Would you do it? Don't forget you can find this episode and all our others on our archives at youtube.com/spaced out radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. We got Ron Bumblefoot Thaw rocking in the background with Little Brother Is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio as he rocks us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, in our chat rooms, in the SOR Space Travelers Club on Facebook, Revolution Radio, Trip and the Boys and Girls, hanging out in Spreaker. Even you, Nikki, I see you there. Evil Eye. Real Evil Eye. And, I'm joking by that, by the way. And, of course, on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for sharing your week with us, because together, my friends, say it with me, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great weekend. Rich Giordano in the hot seat tomorrow. Everett Themer Sunday. The weekend crew is solid. Check them on out. You won't be disappointed. Good night. Good night, Richie G. Good night, Mark. Good night, Mr. Skeptic. Good night to all of you, wherever you may be. Have a good one. I'm going to cut some wood with my chainsaw. Bye.